Hi, welcome to the show. Today's episode is called Getting Better Sleep, and it's all about how to get a better night's rest. This topic it's been really hot the last couple of years. I know Catherine and I have done a lot of changes to our sleep schedule, and we're really excited to unpack it all. How are you doing today, Kat?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I got a good night's sleep, and that feels great.
I did too.
It's so nice when
Yay.
it's so amazing how our sleep is so impactful on us. But you and I have both kind of been like night owls, or burning the midnight oil, or
Yep.
some other cliche that I can't think of right now.
Please
And
don't. Yeah, just
I
sleep.
won't. I will move on. And as we do that, we started noticing like the battery started to get drained more and more every day.
Yeah.
And we weren't really, you kind of get used to it. So it's kind of like a slow die. And then you realize like, I'm just wiped out. So
Yep.
we prioritized sleep, and we did a whole bunch of things that we're going to share. But what can you maybe give us a bit of before and after for you for prioritizing your sleep?
Oh my gosh. I had some of the worst sleep habits. I couldn't fall asleep for a long time. I know this is a common problem people have. Probably like 3 or 4 years ago. I mean, I was like having to take melatonin to fall asleep. I was listening to these like sleepy time podcasts. I mean, I I just could not fall asleep. My brain was going 1,000 miles a minute, and all my worries and all my things, everything would come out at night. And I just had the worst sleep hygiene. And we've talked about sleep a couple times on the podcast before, but we've never devoted a full episode to it and how we have sort of really improve this aspect of our life. And so I'm glad we're doing that today. But now I still think there's work to do for sure. But now I can fall asleep a lot better due to some like different changes and hacks that I've implemented. And it's done wonders for my mental health. I realize that my mental health just is like the worst after a bad night of sleep. But it took me actually getting good nights of sleep and like comparing it to realize like, oh, wait, I think sleep is the reason why I'm so cranky the next day. I mean, wow, light bulb moment, but you just don't realize it if you're chronically exhausted.
Well, yeah, you get into that habit of, it's a self-perpetuating thing, right? You're tired, so maybe you start your work a little bit later in the day, or you have to do these things, and then your circadian rhythm starts to get out of whack. And your circadian rhythm is really the first thing that we try to train ourselves with. Like they say to go outside and get 15 minutes of like daylight within that first hour of waking. And what that does is it signals our brains that it's morning time. The sun, this big red thing is, on the horizon, which means that it's time to wake up, and our cells know this. And then throughout the day, we have like the blue skies overhead. And then we understand that it's like the cells in our body know this from like millennia and millennia, which is really cool to think about. When you start going through these different sleep books, it's like, wow, this is fascinating. I just thought I liked too much caffeine, and here we are. But the blue skies above us kind of tell us that, oh, it's daytime and this is what it
Right.
is. And then a setting sun at night, like the red light at night, again, helps train our brains to get a better sleep. It's kind of signaling our body like, okay, rest time is coming. Where
Right.
we were messing up is we were doing blue screens through the day
At
because we
night.
work on
Yeah.
computers, and then we'd be on our phones and TVs and all these things. And, we just condition our brains to be like that. I know my kids going to school, like they'll stay up late on the weekends playing video games or watching movies late as teenagers do. And they're like, well, it's really hard for me to go to sleep after that. I'm like, well, yeah, you're literally looking at
Right.
this blue thing for hours and hours, training your brain that it's still daylight when, the sun is going to be rising again. So you got to recondition your brain.
Yeah. It's an
And that's,
interesting.
yeah, good.
Yeah, it's an interesting modern problem, right? Because before we had electricity, before we had TVs, phones, and all of these things, uh, people's bodies knew when it was time to be awake and time to be asleep, or they worked by candlelight, which doesn't activate your brain, right? Like a
Yeah.
big screen does. And I do think during all of those times where I was really struggling with sleep, I was working a lot at night after I put the twins to sleep. That was like my prime working time. I'd say up to 1 or 2 in the morning, um, finishing articles and just busting my butt trying to get things
Right.
done. Of course, I couldn't turn my brain off after that.
Yeah.
So it's definitely been a lot of trial and error. So what I'd like to do is uh, list off some things that people can do right now if they're really struggling with sleep. Maybe they're having to take sleep medicine or melatonin or any of these different things, and it's still not getting them quality sleep. Let's share a few things that they can do. And I guess we'll say, let's go from like easy, low cost all the way up, because my friend's Andrew is a massive tech nerd, and he's got some dreamy, you like what I did there, that pun, some dreamy tech
I like that.
and in the condo that is pretty awesome. So first, most affordable thing I would say is like blackout curtains.
Yeah. So blackout curtains are amazing. They will clear out, they'll eliminate any light coming in through the windows, which is what a blackout curtain is. But what it does is it really darkens your room. The next thing that is really, really easy is to remove any phones, Wi-Fi devices from your bedroom. We're going to make your bedroom a sleep sanctuary. And so your bed is, it's only for a few things. And when we're focusing on sleep, we want to make sure that that room is dark. The next thing you can do is get the temperature lower.
Yes.
They say 67 degrees Fahrenheit, which I'm sorry for my Canadian friends. I don't know how to convert that. And I am Canadian in this moment. I just got used to using Fahrenheit for whatever reason. And that having that cool temperature again signals our brain that like, oh, it's cooling off because why, the sun's down. So it gives you a better, deeper sleep has been my experience.
The next thing I would say is blue blocking glasses, blue light
Yes.
blocking glasses. These used to be expensive when they first came out. Now you can get them pretty cheaply.
Yeah.
And then, but along with that, it's recommended, right, that you stop all screens, what, an hour before bed?
An hour or two. And yeah, when the sun goes down, put your blue light blocking glasses on. TV will look a little different and your screens will be a little weird, but it's
You get
better for
used
your
to it.
brain. Yeah. I use Swanix blue light blocking glasses, which I learned about through Sean Stevenson's Sleep Smarter book, which he's got a whole bunch of things in there. Another thing that is pretty low cost is clean air in your bedroom, and snake plants and ivy are really cheap. Kat and I both have snake plants, and they
Yeah.
are really easy to keep alive, which was
Yeah.
our number one thing.
Yeah, I
Um,
call them all Sally. All of the snake plants are Sally's. Andrew's got really big Sallies in his house, but
yeah,
uh, in this
but they
house, the Sallies
and
are
you have a
newer.
few. Yeah, but
Yeah.
the idea with that is that those ones clear the air at night.
Yep.
So that is, again, I've got several in my room just
Yep.
to do that. A really low cost thing is you want to remove any kind of light in your bedroom when it's time
Yeah.
to sleep. Even being exposed to like a little LED light on like a smart device or anything like that.
Yep.
I know we said get rid of Wi-Fi, but I know a lot of us are going to be like, well, that's not happening. So
Yeah.
as a way around it, get just a little bit of masking tape and put a couple of layers on so those lights don't light up, or they don't get, the light doesn't get through. Really, really useful tip, because when you get up in the night to use the washroom, because that's how it goes, you don't want to be seeing those blue lights. It's going to trigger your brain. I think if you see it for more than 3 to 5 seconds, your brain goes, oh, it's time to
Yeah.
be
Awake
awake. And
time.
that's, yeah. And then you get back into bed and you're staring at the ceiling going, why can't I fall asleep? That's why. That's one of the things.
Another thing we have that's a little mid range is we have a grounding mat and grounding sheets.
Yes.
So do you want to explain what those are since you introduced them?
Yeah. So when I moved into this condo, I wasn't going to be able to kind of get outside. And the earth has the Schumann resonance. And apologies to everybody who knows science way better than this guy does, but I'm more of I learn it and then I put it into practice and then I test to see how it is. Um, our bodies don't get enough contact with the earth. So these sheets, grounding mats, they plug into the grounding wire in an outlet. And I've done the tests with a multimeter and stuff, and you can see like it does change your body. The energy kind of comes up from the ground. I've heard some pretty cool stories. My friend got it. He said like my cat doesn't go outside and now it just sits on it all day long. Like it's just,
Mm,
we know this intuitively. I think when you sit on it, people think like maybe they're going to get shocked or anything like that. It's not like that. You just kind of lie down and it helps ground your body. And
yeah.
that's better for aligning the atoms in your body from what I understand.
Yeah, you plug it into an outlet. So here we have just a little mat that you put just in your bed. You can put your feet on it. But in Canada, you have like actual sheets.
You can get a grounding pillow. You can get a grounding mat. There's even like things that you can just kind of sit with that go around your wrist that just have a contact. The next thing you can do for a better night's sleep is, well, we've talked about in the morning, we've talked about at night. So start dimming your lights as you get closer to bed. It's, I think most of us have our lights like really, really bright throughout the day. Then we get home, the lights are full brightness. Get some programmable lights or a dimmer switch and just turn them down to like 50% after supper or after the sun goes down. Just start training your brain. Like, look, we're going into bedtime. This is all about having these little habits throughout the day from sun up to sunset and beyond so that your brain is getting reprogrammed to do this, to go to bed at a certain time of night. And that's the most important one, is to keep a regular sleep schedule. It doesn't cost you anything. Sometimes it's easier to do, easier said than done.
Yeah.
But I know for myself, I try to get 8 hours. I try to be in bed around 10 o'clock and maybe I'll read on a paper book with my
Mhm.
glasses on. And then I have a device, which we'll talk about later, that kind of wakes me up gently. So,
Another thing is to, when you're talking about, this sort of nighttime routine of dimming your lights and all of these things, is to really limit your food intake at night as well. Right? What
yes,
is it? A few hours before bed?
3 hours
Because
before
3 hours
bed.
before bed. Yeah. So not only will that, it can help you lose weight if that's something that you are struggling with right now, limiting your food intake 3 hours before bed. But also it just gives your body like time to digest it, right? It helps. That's my understanding of the
Yeah,
science of it.
that's exactly it. It's like if you have a big meal and then go to sleep, your body is spending the next several hours digesting that food, which means it's not doing what sleep is meant to do, which is to kind of process the stuff that you've accumulated throughout the day, to rest your body, to recharge it, heal it. So when you're eating that late at night, you are skipping that. And I think I know for myself, I've had several nights this week where I ate much later than I did. And last night I'm like, okay, I'm stopping food at 5 o'clock. And I felt so much better going to bed and waking up this morning. I didn't feel like sludge because my body was able to do what it's supposed to do in sleep, which is rejuvenate itself.
Yeah, and like one thing I'm thinking of is I know that there's people listening to this and they're like, "Oh, I've got like a little baby or I'm working like the night shift and things are," and I think there are seasons and times of life where it's really really hard to get a good night of sleep. We get it. We've got 4 kids between us and I was just talking to my younger brother who has a brand new baby. And I was just like, oof, you kind of forget how challenging it is during those first few months. So if you're in one of those seasons, just know that it is possible to have sleep once more. You will get sleep once again. But if there's
Yeah.
anything that you can do to, keep the lights dark, if you have to get up with the baby in the night or just have like very, very low lighting, not checking the time too, unless you
Yeah.
have to for like feeding purposes and things like that. But I've heard on, I think on another podcast, that if you look at the time, you're much more likely to stay awake, because then your brain starts going, oh no, it's 3 a.m. Am I ever going to get back to sleep? Or, oh no, it's 5 a.m. Should I even try to go back to sleep? Should I just stay up? And then once your brain is moving and active, like, you're up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have done all of these different things, and I haven't shared my very mostest favorite sleep thing, but it's also probably the most expensive of everything we've said. And it's the bed jet.
The bed jet is amazing. So, what a bed jet is, it was on Shark Tank a few years ago. Shout out to our friend David, who had one and introduced us to this wide world of bed jet, and it is
Oh my
truly amazing.
gosh.
And we can put a referral code in here because I think you can save $50 with one of our codes. What it does is it heats up the bed for when you get into it, but you can also do a programming for it where it syncs with your biorhythm. So it'll get hot when you get into bed, which is what we all want. And then throughout the night, it'll actually lower the temperature down to whatever you want, and it'll cool the bed, which again puts your body in that deep sleep and helps restore everything. And then it will also start to heat up as the night goes on. So like to kind of getting you closer to when you wake up, which is just fantastic. It's been really, really useful, and I don't regret getting it at all.
Yeah, when I saw it on Shark Tank, I didn't understand that at all. Maybe they didn't get a deal. I don't remember the details, but like, I was like, I don't get it. It looks like this. I just didn't understand why someone would spend a few $100s on that. But then we used our friends, and I was like, I understand now. And it's amazing. But the reason I wanted to structure the podcast this way was to let people know that, we have been working on sleep hygiene probably about 2 years now. I feel like it was like one of your major New Year's resolutions recently was just like to figure out the sleep thing, because it impacts so much. And so the bed jet is a recent addition, right? But any of these things, just not eating late at night, turning off the TV, wearing the blue light glasses, like kind of winding down. Those are all very affordable and easy ways to try to start getting some better, higher quality sleep. And of course, you can layer things on as time allows.
A few other things that you should know. And so yes, Catherine, you're right. I think it was last year or the year before, I was like, hey, I really wanted to prioritize health. And so when you start looking into health, to me, it's always like, what are the big changes that need to happen? What are the big kind of pillars of a healthy life? We sleep a third of our lives. And it's so crucial that we kind of, I think when we're younger, we think we can just push through it because that's just how we are and we're able to. But being able to prioritize sleep as that, these are 8 hours a night that I am going to master, because I know the other 16 hours of my day are going to be so much better, and that'll just improve my quality of life. So that was one of the first health things that I did. So I made my sleep sanctuary. A couple of higher end things that I have, and you don't need these things. But I have a red light that can actually simulate sunrise and sunset to kind of help my brain get used to it. I only use those on nights where I messed up somewhere along my day and I need that. The other thing I have is an Apollo, and what an Apollo is. Yeah, it's a vagus nerve stimulator, and it's you use it throughout the whole day. And if you have anxiety or any kind of condition where you're very nervous, this helps to soothe you. It's app controlled, but they have a smart vibe setting for when you sleep. And what it will do is it will start to notice when you are coming out of that deep sleep. And we have a 90-minute sleep schedule or sleep cycle. So just, and again, good to know, if you wake up at 6 o'clock and you have to be up at 6:45, going back to bed might do you more harm than good, because you're going to wake up if you fall back asleep, you'll wake up in the middle of your sleep cycle. Anyway, but through the night, the Apollo, it will just kind of gently vibrate. You wear it on your ankle, and it has, I think I was looking the other day, it's given me 100 extra hours of sleep this past year. It's just remarkable. And it's just it goes on for a minute or two at a time, I never notice it because I'm sleeping through it. And I'm
Right.
always amazed when I wake up and I'm like, wow, I slept through the night.
Yeah.
And that was that was a rarity for me before this device. So
The cool thing about the
again,
Apollo too that I like is that it gives you like a power nap setting. And so you can put it on your ankle and it will kind of help you fall asleep and wake up in an appropriate time power nap. We joke in my family, we call it like a Collins death nap because everybody, my siblings, my parents, it's like we can't take a short nap. It's like if we lie down, like we die and that's it. Like, and it's like 3 hours later and your whole cycle's messed up. And then like, you can't fall back asleep that night. So when I wear the Apollo, it's a miracle. It has beat the Collins nap. And it just gives you that little bit of rest if you didn't have a good night's sleep or you're just feeling run down in the middle of the day. Um, I feel like we're giving a lot of tips here. I mean, even exercising, you can do nightly wind down yoga. There's so many different things, but the most important thing, and I think the reason that people don't put a lot of attention to this is, well, first of all, there's so many things that demand our attention. But I also think it's sort of a self-worth thing, in this whole world of like, take care of yourself and have a self-care day and all this stuff. Sleep is so vital to our health. It's so vital to our body recovering at night. The more that you sleep, the better you're able to ward off illness. And there's so many health benefits of it. And I think that prioritizing sleep and taking even a couple steps to make your room a little bit of a sleep sanctuary and all of these different things kind of sends a signal to your brain that you're worth it and that you care
mhm,
about your health and that you think it's valuable. We don't have TVs in our bedroom, right? So we don't have the lights on. We don't fall asleep to that. I will fall asleep to a book every now and then, but really, really simple things and prioritizing it. Um, is more of a health and self-care thing than anything.
absolutely. And I think that is the big takeaway. I'm gonna drop a few more tiny micro tips here that I've done and have worked for us. And I know you're listening to this and you might be thinking, geez, this is a
We
lot.
have
I
11
can't,
million tips.
there's 11 million tips, but here's what we preach at 5 Year You. We preach small incremental changes that you can manage. We are not saying go do all of this stuff today. What we're saying is think about which there's something in this episode that appeals to you. And there's something in this episode that's going to make you go, oh, I can do that. I can remove the Wi-Fi devices. I can go get red light night lights, which is a really good thing if you're a new parent that still provides light, but kind of also doesn't turn your brain fully on because it's a red light, not a blue light.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but there's going to be something in this that appeals to you that you can just go, yes, I'm getting
That's the
blackout
thing.
blinds. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think my blackout blinds I got from Umbra and they were like $30. Like they are a very, very good investment, especially if you have like, bright lights right outside your window. So here's a few other things that we have done. We have taken magnesium supplements. There's
Yes.
different kinds of magnesium. I know Kat likes the Calm. I am trying a new type of magnesium right now. There's like 4 or 5 different types of magnesium pills you can take. So make sure you talk to your health specialist to get the right one for you. Um, Keeping your room cool. We've talked about keeping your room dark. We've talked about no hard talks after 7 o'clock.
Oh yeah, that is a rule we have.
Yeah, no caffeine after noon. Caffeine has like, I can't remember what it was, but it's like an 8 to 16 hour shelf life in your body. So when you are having your 4 o'clock coffee, it's still in your body at midnight. And that can be a really hard thing. Alcohol, while it can help you fall asleep,
Fall
it doesn't
asleep.
give you a good sleep. And we are more about you want a good sleep, but I know in the past we've both kind of been like, well, a glass of wine or something else will help us fall asleep. We stopped drinking years ago, and it definitely helps to notice these things. I do a spa, like I do a sauna every other night before bed, which kind of just helps me to get relaxed. It triggers my brain to go to sleep. Lots of different things that you can do. Have a nighttime ritual is really what we're preaching right now, where your body and your brain start going, okay, this is the sleepy time now. Now I read my book. Now I listen to this podcast. Now I do this or that and brush my teeth. And when I brush my teeth, I shower. And you just have a good routine that will help you get into the flow so that your brain is going, oh, I know this now. This is the sleep schedule and I'm going to go to sleep. And I think in doing that, I went from, it used to take me like 45 minutes to an hour to fall asleep to now
Yeah.
I'm like 5 to 7 minutes. Even last night, I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm going to stay up. And I was out 5 minutes later. It just, and it's nice because we're all about creating these small habits that help you
Yeah.
go and do what you need to do without you having to think about it every day.
Yep.
But you do
And
that
this
one
is
little habit at a time.
And this is like everything else we talk about here. This is all about progress, not perfection. Of course, like every night is not going to be your greatest night of sleep ever. At the time of this recording, the twins are 10 and we'll still have little visitors in the night every now and then for various reasons. Who knows? So, we still do have sleep interruptions and things like that, but I have noticed just a massive improvement in my life, in my mental health, in my ability to just get through the day. And I highly recommend just for a little bit this year, even if you take only one tip from what we've said, I think it can really dramatically improve your life.
I agree. I think just taking that one thing that you're going to try and start moving forward with it, that's the best way to do it. And again, progress, not perfection.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things we were talking about is like, I need to be in bed by 10 o'clock. My son is not able to drive yet. So he's got hockey, like his hockey stuff starts at 8:45. So we are not getting home until after 10 o'clock. And then there's,
Yeah.
then I still got to do my sleep routine, which I condense, but it's not going to be perfect every night. It's not meant to be perfect every night. Life is
Yeah.
going to throw things at you. You got to be willing to adjust, which is why having a bit of a flexible schedule will help you as far as your routine, your nighttime routine goes. So all of that to say, pick one thing, give it a try. Once you get that handled, pick another thing, give that a try, and make your own nighttime schedule. You'll be happier throughout the days when you get better sleep.
I like it. All right, we are at the end of the episode, and at the end of every episode, we do something called glimmers, which are happy, sparkly things that we're enjoying, things we want to share with you. Mine's actually sleep related because, it goes with the whole vibe of the podcast.
Okay, well, go ahead.
The kids got me a heated blanket for Christmas, and I have been carrying around this thing like a toddler. I've got it on my lap right now while I'm recording. I'm bringing it into bed at night and getting all cozy. I've been plugging it in next to the couch. I love it. I've wanted one for years. I just never allowed myself to buy it for myself. So the kids got that for me. And it's definitely one of my top favorite Christmas gifts.
I like that. My glimmer is going to be my neurovisor, which is a device that it's like a light therapy device, but I've been experimenting with it for meditation and a few other things, but it actually has a feature on it for sleep that will help you reset your circadian rhythm. So you can like do something at 9, in between like 6 and 9, then at noon, then whatever, you can do these things. But it has been really, really good for helping me change my mood throughout the day. Like if I start to get stressed or angry or panicked or anxious or whatever, I can go do this. There are 11-minute sessions and it's just light and sound. You sit there with your eyes closed for 11 minutes while these sounds come in and out. And I always come out of it going like, wow, I can't believe that I can change my state that quickly. And it's been really, really cool. So that's mine.
All right. Well, I think that's really good. And thanks for listening, guys.
Hey, it's Andrew. Are you feeling stuck in your life right now, kind of not sure where to go or what your next steps are? We've created a coaching program for you to help you discover your path, and we call it 5 weeks to future you. So what you'll get is 2-to-1 coaching with Catherine and I over 5 weeks while we help you figure out what the next steps are in your life. We offer a complimentary call. You just have to go to 5yearyou.com to check it out and set up your call with us to see if we're a good fit. I know from my own experience that it is incredibly hard to do this on your own, and that's why we're offering these coaching calls. We're only going to work with 5 people at a time to make sure that we can give you the attention that you truly deserve. So head on over to 5yearyou.com to get started.
Hey guys, quick disclaimer. We're podcasters on the internet. If you need to seek professional help, please go see your healthcare professional.